Good morning, DJ Tech Tools. Ian Golden in the studio. I've got some coffee and I've got some exciting things to show you. As some of you may remember, we did a one-button mapping contest where we invited you to submit your mappings of anything where all you could do is press one button and create a lot of interesting effects. So today I'm very excited to share the results of that contest, including some of our favorites, the grand prize winner, and a master mapping where we pull all of them together into one template for the MIDI Fighter 3D. Let's jump right in and take a look at our favorite one-button mappings. So I'm going to show these on the MIDI Fighter 3D. You can download this mapping or any of the individual mappings, which usually have been mapped to the button V on your keyboard, by following the link underneath this video in YouTube, or if you're on DJ Tech Tools, check out the links in the article. So let's go through and show you some of the most interesting mappings that came out of this whole contest and how they might be used. First of all, I just want to thank everyone for being so amazingly creative. We were all blown away. So many cool things and amazing possibilities that we would have never imagined were possible with one single button. So even if you didn't win, everyone here, I hate to say it, was a winner because the mappings were really cool. And that's why we put all of them into one master mapping for everyone to enjoy, and why I want to show you some of the cool ones today. So let's jump right in. So each button turns an effect on as long as it's held, or in some cases, pressing the button will step through different effects. And then we've added some motion controls so you can further modulate those effects. So on the top row, there's sort of one press effects journeys where when you press the button, the effect is going to automatically sweep or increase or change over time. So let's hear what that sounds like. Here is a ramp delay filter guy. Release it and it goes out. Next to it is a cool gator build. It's going to increase the gator value while slowly increasing the reverb. Kind of a cool effect. We could add a little sweep. Next to it is one of my favorites, the masher sweep. So it's going to introduce a beat masher. Very cool. Add a little motion to that. Now on the next row, we actually have some really clever techniques where people step through different values incrementally. So when you press the button, it does one thing. You press it again, it does another. You press it again, it does another. And so in this way, you can do sequences of loops or beat mashers. On the first one, it's loops. And it's actually going to jump back. Really cool. So it uses the freeze functionality to jump back to the place it was in the track. The next one is similar, but uses the beat masher. So all these, especially on the second row, you have to get kind of dexterous about, and it's challenging to do perfectly, but once you get it, they're really, really playable. Next up is a 4-beat build. Similar to the first one, it's going to basically build up a loop over time. Next, we've got Stewie's mash stretcher. The nice thing about this one is if you hold the button down at the end, you can get a sweep. So you can try to do a build. So again, you got to get your timing right, but all these effects with one single button can be really fun to use. Okay, on the next row, we've got a whole different style of effect. These are sort of more of a transport function. The first one is a reversed play button. So let's see what that sounds like. It's exactly what it sounds like. You just press it once, press it again, and it's going to go ahead and play the track, turning sync on and making it the master deck. Next one is a max CDJ break. Press the button, stops the deck and you get a CDJ spin back. So if you were mixing tracks and you wanted to get out of it, you could just throw that guy on and get back into the track. Kind of wild. Finally, a transpose break. This is kind of like a turntable stop. Probably a cool way to get out of a track. So if we were playing deck A, we want to get into the deck B and get into deck A, vice versa. Let's so you can see it works really cool as a nice transition. And that's what this middle row is for, our transitions out of tracks. On this final row, we've got some really creative uses of a single button, probably the most ambitious, where with a single button, you can mix between two different songs and it does everything for you, including syncing, playing the track, doing an effects transition, and then triggering a cue point on the uplift to go to the right part of the song. So in this particular button, Instant Mixer, which is just awesome, it starts off at cue point number 1. And then when you release the button, it jumps to cue point number 2. So I've set my first cue point on my mix in point and my second cue point on my downbeat where I want the track to play. And now I'll jump between two tracks so you can kind of hear the difference. All right, let's see how this works. All right, so let's wait for the downbeat. Let's maybe start mixing at this guy right here. 4, 3, 2, 1. There it is, jump straight to cue point 2. Let's go back. And we can keep going back and forth. I really like that one. It does a micro loop and then jumps straight to the cue point. So what we're gonna do on this particular layer, because it's so creative and so complicated, is we'll break some of these apart. So in that particular demonstration, there were 4 different kinds of mixes that were staggered each time I pressed the button. But you'd like that button to be a little bit more reliable. Like I'd like one button that's just my micro loop raise, mix, cue, jump, whatever in the world you want to call that. So what we've done is broken apart some of these more complex mappings, like the Ray Kotek VDJ and the Instant Mixer mapping, and put them on individual buttons of a single master mapping for the MIDI Fighter 3D. And so you have a single template of just amazing one presses. On the top are some effects journey kind of things. Press a button, effects change, release the button, effects go off. And on the lower half are more transport oriented things. So press the button, the deck stops, or press the button and mix into a different deck. You're probably wondering, who is the winner, Ian, of the one button mashup contest? So there are so many great entries in here. It was really, really hard to tell. The one press effects were perfect and are probably the most useful. You're going to get a lot of mileage out of these one press effects. In particular, the effects journey was really, really strong. The Gator build button was really, really strong. All these were really strong. The one I think has to win though, because it was the most creative and I think opened up a whole new way of thinking about DJing, was the Instant Mixer, where using cue points 1 and 2, you can define different parts of your track that you want to be your mix in point and different parts of your track that you want to be the jump point. Sure, you could do this with cue points. You could press cue point 1, do some effects, and when you're ready to drop it, press cue point 2. But these are a lot of things to kind of keep in your mind, and it's easy to screw up. By putting it all on a single button where your down press is your pre-play and your up play or your up press is your downbeat, it makes it super intuitive. And for that reason, I have to give the grand prize to the Instant Mixer. Congratulations, you get a MIDI Fighter 3D or MIDI Fighter Twister of your choice. And I want to thank everyone for participating in this amazing contest and making DJ Tech Tools the absolute best DJ community on the web.